Hi everyone, my name is Natalie Ledwell and this is The Inspiration Show. Today in the show I have author Yol Swan who's joining me, and we're talking about her new book that's come out, which is called the Indigo Journals. I'm really excited to talk about this because this is it's part memoir but part guidebook. So once we start talking to Yol, I think that there are going to be many of us that can identify with her story, her feelings, her emotions, and the journey that she's been on, and then get some amazing insights as to how we can harness some of the gifts and the energy that we show up in the world. So welcome, Yol. How are you?
Hi, Natalie. I'm really well. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's such a pleasure to have you here, and I'm looking forward to our chat today. So why don't we start initially with your story? Because I think that there, like I said, I think there's a lot of us that will be able to identify ourselves in a similar story as to what you've been on.
Yeah, and that's why I included it in the book, right? Because I want to let people know where I'm coming from. Well, I can tell you that, first of all, I was born in Mexico, so I'm a transplant. And I grew up feeling like the ugly duckling, like I didn't belong anywhere, like I didn't belong in my family, my culture, the environment. And eventually that led me to dive into a self-exploration. I really wanted to understand who I was and why I perceived things differently, why I felt things differently. I have the ability to see a life as energy, and that kind of put me in a different category because there was nobody to help me or guide me in understanding what that was about. And also have access to the other dimensions, especially the past. So I could see past lives, I could see through people, I could see things that others didn't seem to be paying attention to, and it was very confusing, especially in my relationships. So I wanted to understand what brought me to have difficult relationships and feeling out of place. And I started psychotherapy, did that for 7 years or so, and like on a regular basis, on a weekly basis. But that was what launched me into an exploration of consciousness, of the spiritual path. Because before then, I didn't want anything to do with religion or anything like that. And back then, of course, there were not that many options. It was either religion or nothing. So I chose nothing. But through my own self-exploration, I tapped into other realms and started traveling through past lives and all sorts of wonderful things that I share in the book. And that led me to a deeper exploration of consciousness. And I went into a personal 3-year retreat in almost a complete isolation to really dive in and understand what motivated me and why I had these self-defeating patterns that kept me stuck in certain types of dynamics and relationships and so on. So that was quite a discovery. That's when I really it was my awakening. And after that, I was offered the opportunity to study music here in the U.S. So I jumped right in. I moved. I found my guru. I found other teachers, and I found my now ex-husband and established a family of my own, and also was part of a spiritual family. But even though I had gone through all of that, there was still a sense that I didn't quite belong. There was still a piece of my puzzle that was missing. And that came about during a painful divorce when I realized, because I had memories of my life in Atlantis and all sorts of things that came to me. I had the insight that I was an indigo adult, an indigo soul, expressing the wounded feminine on the planet. And that prompted me, it was just this drive, this intense drive to write the book and help others like me not have to go through all that process to embrace, their true nature. And of course, along the path, I developed a system, a healing system for myself, and then I shared with my spiritual counseling clients that I also share in the book.
Right. So I've heard of indigo souls before and rainbow children and all that kind of thing. So what is an indigo soul?
Well, indigos are what I call feminine souls with certain masculine qualities. And by that I mean that we are feminine in that we are wired as receptive types of souls. So that makes us sensitive, empathic, compassionate, very creative, drawn to spiritual subjects or metaphysical subjects, very connected to the earth, to the planet, because it's a very feminine planet, and its creatures, animals. And it also gives us a kind of a spherical perception of things. So it's not linear like the masculine, logical, rational. It's more like we can see different aspects of one thing at the same time. So we're more open, more tolerant, more flexible and fluid in that way. Those are the feminine qualities. Now, indigos have certain masculine qualities as well, because we're very receptive and sensitive, and not just emotionally, but also to energies and the environment and the chemicals and all the stuff that we've been bombarded with lately. But we have this tendency towards the truth, very being bound to the truth, very much attached to that, and always looking for that truth. So it's hard for us to play the games that we see in the world or accept manipulation or any kind of control. We are also very goal-oriented. So we're always seeking our purpose. We're always searching for that purpose to make us feel like, yeah, it's okay, we belong here, this is the right place, the right time, and so on. And when we don't have a purpose, we feel very disconnected, very depressed, we're like we don't want to be here at all. So those are the masculine qualities that gives us also kind of a warrior type temperament. So we're feminine and sensitive and receptive, but we're very strong-headed and really determined, and we have the strength to overcome trauma and difficult situations that not all feminine souls have. I always describe indigos as the highly creative, sensitive, and empathic visionaries who feel like the ugly duckling in the world. Right.
And I think you've just described most of my girlfriends. And me, So that's interesting. And I know in the book you talk about healing, and before you mentioned about, you talk a lot about healing, but healing what? Well, what are we healing?
We're healing deep spiritual wounds that we've been carrying along for thousands of years, reincarnation after reincarnation. Because every time we reincarnate, we're basically trying to heal those wounds, resolve those issues that we didn't get to resolve, make peace with those things that we didn't understand or we couldn't, process properly. So we heal those wounds we try to heal those wounds at every incarnation, but also because the feminine has been so wounded for so long, we carry wounds that are part of the collective that have to do with devaluing or distorting the feminine qualities of ourselves and, of course, of life. And those create very deep wounds that affect all feminine souls, because we feel that very intensely, especially now that the world has become so excessively masculine. We feel like a tug of war within ourselves, like I'm supposed to be doing this and following this, path, like what the social standards or the culture expects of me, but I feel completely different. I feel like I want to go in a different direction towards more awareness, more peace, more love. So it doesn't match. My inner vision doesn't match that. So we try to heal those wounds to integrate both what's on the outside that's been obviously wounded, and also the inside that is wounded, and we need to integrate all the pieces, accept things, make peace with people, with situations, even with the world, so that we can find that center in ourselves that allow us to contribute what we're here to do, and also transform the world through our own transformation.
Yeah. So, I think have you found that there seems to be more of an awakening, or more people, and predominantly women, that are coming to this place now where it's like they're kind of waking up? It's like, okay, I know I've been a wife, I've been a mother, I've been, a career person, but I know that there's something else that I need to, like, I'm yearning for something different. It's like this soul is kind of get through the cracks. Is that your experience, and is that who the type of people that read your book or that work with you?
Yeah, exactly. Because we've reached the extreme of masculinity, like I was saying. One step further and life on Earth would be completely destroyed, right? So it's time for us to turn things around and move towards a feminine cosmic cycle. And that's what we're experiencing, amongst other things. But it's basically the feminine that has been pushed down, devalued, and suppressed to the subconscious is coming back to the surface because it needs to be restored to move into that cosmic cycle. At the same time, we're also transitioning towards the age of Aquarius, which is kind of feminine in a lot of ways, because it's about community and connection and kind of a global communication, global and a more sustainable way of doing things, right? So we're looking at new technologies to save this planet. So it's all going back towards the feminine, and we're also moving towards fifth dimension, which is where we sank from. We originally came to fifth dimension. Most people don't know this because the prehistory of the world is not, has been kind of devalued, or if it's not scientifically proven and all that, it doesn't matter. It doesn't exist. It's not true. And I speak about that in the book as well, the memories from that prehistory. So we're going back to fifth dimension. We're going towards a feminine cycle, and we're entering the age of Aquarius. So all these big shifts, it require a lot of awareness, a lot of awakening, a lot of leaving all the past behind and all the things that don't serve us, and really embracing our true nature, our divine nature, and who we are. So all feminine souls are awakening first because it's a calling of the feminine, but eventually, those who don't belong here are gonna move to other places, and those who still want to experience this will awaken as well.
Yeah. So it's interesting that you talk about fifth dimension, because it's come up in conversation quite a bit lately, in the conversations I'm in. So what is fifth dimension?
Well, fifth dimension is a plane where we get to experience the physical reality of the planet, the material aspects, but with higher awareness. Right. So there's more connection to consciousness and less attachment to the physical senses, because when we are so attached to the physical senses, like here, it's so dense that we believe that this is all there is. What I feel is real, and what I touch is real, and nothing else. So from fifth dimension is like having a higher perception of life and knowing that, yeah, this is what I'm here to experience, but it's not the only reality, it's not the only truth. I can access other realms of perception, and I'm an infinite soul. I have many other options and possibilities, even because of the power that we all hold, that inner feminine power that's creative power. I can create my reality if I'm clear about what I want that reality to be. In third dimension, it is possible, but it's a lot harder because there's more resistance, there's more wounds, there's more attachments to things and people, and so those things get in the way and create resistance. So it's a much lighter dimension than what we are experiencing now, where it's so dense and so much about survival, and just the physical aspects of life. We need to move past that and understand that we're infinite souls, infinite sparks of consciousness here to expand and create new things, to improve things.
Yeah. So, you know, and what I have also found that, because this was my journey, and I've spoken to a lot of women the same, when I tap into a conversation like this, or when I hear a conversation like this, something lights up in me. So if, you know, if we've got someone who's watching the show today that they're having that experience and they really want to connect with you or get their hands on the book, where can we send them to do that, Yol?
Well, the book is available on Amazon, both in print and as an ebook. It's also available on barnesandnoble.com and iTunes, and certain very kind of specialty kind of bookstores. And it has its own website if they want to learn more about it. It's theindigojournals.com. But you know, they can and they can read about it. There's a book trailer there, a chapter excerpt, the table of contents, things for them to explore, and then they can click and go directly to Amazon to purchase it. Now, to get in touch with me, my main website is soulguidedcoach.com, and that they can learn more about me, the services that I offer, the courses that I'm launching this year, which are based in the book, to guide people, you know, more closely through the process, through the healing system that I use with my clients. But you know, for people who maybe can't afford to do one-on-one with me, well, they can follow the courses. It's the same process. And they can join my newsletter there to get notices and weekly inspiration for a soul-guided life. So that website again is soulguidedcoach.com.
Beautiful. So thank you so much, Yol, for joining me today. It's been we've only just scratched the surface of this conversation.
Thank you, Natalie.
The work that you're doing. So, guys, I encourage you to share this video. You can do that by clicking the Facebook and the Twitter share buttons on this page. Click on the banner to the side if you're watching this online, or underneath the video if you're watching this on the app, to go through to Yol's website. And make sure that you leave your email in the box provided so that we can send you the Manifesting with the Masters video e-course. So until next time, remember to live large, choose courageously, and love without limits. We'll see you soon.